Hi everybody, Dominic Esposito, your drill instructor. Welcome to a special edition of the clinic because tonight I'm going to go a little extra long. I've got a handful of letters and requests and things asking about jumping because our new the Elevate jump cue, which has replaced the G5 launcher. I almost forgot the name about that. The G5 launcher, which has been the best performing jump cue for over 9 years. And then since we replaced it with the Elevate, so many incredible things have happened, but it is totally carbon fiber. Okay, you take off the back handle. I'm going to put this out of the way for now. Okay, the bottom line is back handle's 18 inches long. The front handle's 10.5 inches long. The shaft is 30 inches long. You've got a jump cue that's just barely 5 ounces. Right here in my hand, this is barely the weight of a common pull shaft. And then you can take this handle off, put the 18 inches on, and now you've got yourself a beautiful like 7.5 ounce jump cue, and you can have a little extra longer extension back arm thing if that's what you like to do. You could put the two pieces together, make it into 58.5 inches, and you have a full length 11.5 ounce jump cue. All the stats, if I'm off by an ounce or something, all of that is right there at Prime Custom Cues. Go to Prime Custom Cues. And I've got amazing information up there in videos. But right now, tonight, I want to talk to you about some technical details specific to the questions I'm getting about I just need some tips. I need some really good general information about my jump shots. And this is good because a lot of people are asking questions about shots that they keep curving the ball to one side or the other. How do I stop that? How do I fix that? Where do you hold the cue? Where do you hit the ball? How do you tell the difference between the elevations? These are a lot of things that if you can go to the drillinstructor.us, and for any of you want to go to DITV, I have lots of real detailed classes and information. But tonight I'm going to give you some time. A little extra time tonight. It's going to be a little longer so that I can really get into some things. So I'm going to go through the questions as best as I remember them. And let's just get started. Okay, question number one is always, I tell you, this is probably the most asked question in the world. Where do you hit the ball when you're jumping? And that really is an important, good question. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you just a good, basic, high quality Aramith pool ball. Or any other kind of a pool ball. You can always tell the difference between the quality of a ball. If the number is in the white section, those are like generally really, really cheap garbage plastic balls that you could probably get for 18 bucks. If the number's inside the colored stripe, that's an indicator that's a higher quality pool ball. A lot of you probably didn't know that. So it's just one of those things you want to be aware of. But if you take the ball that has the stripe on it, like I'm showing you, and you could see the circle in the middle with the number, and then the crowning circle with the white, and there's always a stripe right there between that. So technically, I aim right at that mark right there. There it is right there. You can see that really close. I'm right on the stripe, and no matter what the elevation of the shot is going to be, that's still exactly the point that I'm aiming at. All of the time. I never change the aiming point on the ball except for two possibilities. One, do I want to put follow on the cue ball or do I want to put draw on the cue ball? Otherwise, just a standard popping shot, that's the location. So you ask for the information on where is the point for follow. There it is. It's exactly at the cut line of the white and the orange. Can you see that right there? And if you ask for draw is going to be right there at the point where the cut line is from the white and the colored line right below it. Yeah, it's barely 1/8 of an inch. But with that 1/8 of an inch, I can follow the cue ball all the way up an entire length of the table. And with draw, I can get that ball with the proper technique. I can get that ball to draw back 3 diamonds. Yeah, and I could do that, of course, with my jump cue. I can't really profess that to say that could be true with a lot of other jump cues. But I have tried lots of them and all the famous names and all the names that you're paying too much money for because their name is on it or whatever. But let me just make a couple of suggestions really quick. If you have a break cue and you could break down the handle and take it off and now voila, you have a jump cue. Basically, that's more of a novelty idea. So what I want you to understand is this. If the most extreme jump cues could be jumped from here to here in terms of the, in context of types of shots. So from A to Z or from 0 to 50, okay? There's that. It's a measuring. If you've got a cue that has break down the handle and it's probably going to come in at like 11 and a half to 14 ounces, give or take at the most, this range of jump shots has now been shut down to about here. You're going to have lost all the long end and all the short end types of technical and specialty shots that come up for jumping, but for the sake of just hammering a ball and making it jump because, hey, let's face it, this is nothing but an expensive sidewalk covered with fabric, okay? But if you take the ball, there it is, bounce it up in the air, it's going to bounce. So basically, if you were to take a leg off of the table of your kitchen table and put a hard tip on the end of it, you could bounce a ball up in the air. It's not that big of a deal. What really is a big deal is when the ball is that close to that ball and you need to get over it. That's what you need this for. That's what you need a real jump cue for. And so the reason the Elevate jump cue system is designed the way it is, it's because all of the fullest range of the types of jump shots you can hit, I cover every single one of these in detail, both on DITV and the fact that the cue has the ability to create that range of shots. So that is really the big deal. Okay, let's get into those other specifics. So you've got that. The answer is, where do you hit the ball? Dead center on the stripe line. If you want to follow it, you go up. If you want to drop it for some draw, you're going to go down. And that's basically the picture of where do you hit the ball. Next big question I always get from people is they say, well, where do you hold the cue? Okay, so you got the joint of the cue, right? You put the joint together, basically hold it. And by the way, our joints are, these are aluminum unilock. This is like really expensive stuff. Okay, it's the best, highest quality. It's not just standard steel. This is super lightweight and you want to hold it right at the joint. Now, if you want to hold it down just a little bit further, that can be done too. There are certain types of shots where you want to bring it down. That's very important to know that. It's not like the law. It has to be right there, but you don't want to be above it. You do not. Now, if you're going to have a backhand on it and you're going to do something like that, obviously you're probably not going to hold it at the joint. Good luck. You probably can't even get yourself all contorted into the ball anyway. But the fact is, wherever you're going to hold this handle or with the full length handle on the end of it, that is going to give you. But if you're going to do dart jumping, you're going to want to start from the joint or a little bit down further. There are two types of jumping you can do, okay? There is this back arm jumping, okay? And then there is the dart jumping. Now, I'm not going to spend a lot of time really talking about the back arm jumping because I'm not a big fan of it. Two reasons why. Number one, when I shoot, I'm usually having to look at the cue ball, and I hate that. I want to look at the point of what I'm aiming at to hit it because I intend to hit it. If I don't, then it's a mistake. But the same way you play every other pool shot, you answer the question. Are you looking at the cue ball? Or are you looking at the object ball when you shoot the winning ball for 8 ball, 9 ball, 10 ball, whatever you're playing, where you're going to shoot the winning ball or any other ball in the rack? Are you looking at the object ball or the cue ball at the time you shoot? And the answer is yes, you look at the object ball. You look at what you're aiming at. Now, if you want an example of how to get this through your head, when you're driving down the street in your car, do you look at the emblem on the front of the hood of your car so you know how to go straight? That's pretty stupid, right? That's about as dumb as looking at the cue ball instead of looking at what you're aiming at. That's my opinion. Look down the street, where are you going? And look at the point of contact on the object ball that you're aiming for. Otherwise, if you get down here and you're going to try to look at some piece of the cloth or spot or some light reflecting or whatever, and that also, light reflection is completely stupid also because every time you move, the reflection moves too. You never got that? Okay, so the idea is when you're down here and you're trying to aim and you're trying to get it. Now, unless you want to spend 6 to 8 hours a day for multiple days just becoming highly hyper proficient at the possibility of how to aim without looking, I'm sorry, I just don't have that kind of time to waste. And I wouldn't even want to waste my time training you if you were with me, so that won't even happen. If you're going to train with me, you're going to be able to look at exactly what you're aiming at, so the result is exactly what you intended to do, not what you hoped you'd do, okay? If you want to hope for something, either fall in love with God or play horseshoes and hand grenades and hope you get close. Otherwise, we need to be very exact. So that's what I'm trying to get you to understand. Okay, so now we know we hold it at the joint, and you need to know how. You need to hold it this hard. Exactly. You hold it so light as if you were holding the wings of a butterfly. Yeah, hold the wings of a butterfly. So gentle, you don't want to mess them up and smash them together. No, gentle. That's exactly. And at the point I shoot, I'm still holding it that. I never pinch. I never get to the point that I pinch. Now, there is something I'm going to talk about later, but I'm going to bring it up right now so you understand. If you pinch, you will trap the cue ball and it will not jump. It will be like all these jump shots you do, okay, where you're hitting the ball or you can't even get over the ball because you're pinching it. You're holding it too tight. If you don't hold it like the wings of a butterfly, the cue can get out of the way so the ball can jump. That's how the jump shot works. Got it. Good. Okay, so in that case, what we want to be sure is hold the cue gently. Now, next thing we're going to talk about is, okay, I'm going to get this out of the way real quick. You back armors, okay, whatever you're doing here, you're trying to load up, trying to get into position, and then you're trying to jack up, and here's what happens. You're going to get from here, and you're going to try to look up and down, and you're going to look, you're going to check your aim 20 more times, then you're going to get down here, and I can't do this. My neck isn't going to put me in that position where I'm comfortable. So you have to find some trick spot, like finding the spots on the bowling alley when you're bowling. You know the little spots and the arrows, and you aim for those. That's it. Keep it to bowling. But in this case here, I want to be down. I want to be able to look up. And so that way I look at this shot, then I start pumping, and when I get ready to shoot, I'm looking at what I'm aiming at. I'm looking at what I'm aiming at. If I had to hit this ball here and it was a cut shot, and this is what I have now, and I'm safe, and I got to get over this, and I want to play this, and I want to make it. I want to be able to look at the edge of that ball. So that's why it's important that you do that. Eye pattern. Let's talk about the third thing now. Eye pattern. This is where a lot of players get in trouble. So you're back down here. Let's take the shot from here for a moment. And first thing I'm going to do is check my aim. Now you can check your aim in one of three ways. One, close one eye, bring the shaft up, and if the cue ball disappears underneath this, and it will, then you're directly in line. Then you can bring this forward and pick it up and look down and then bring it back down and know that you're straight. Okay? That's one way you could do it. The second way you could do it is to just get down a little bit low from here and then bring yourself forward. Okay? The third way is after about 3,000 or 4,000 jump shots, you're going to be able to pretty much just walk up to it and eye it right there, and you're going to see that you're right on target. So the third way is just natural with experience. Okay? So you get that so far. Next, number 4. People ask me, how high should I hold the elevation of the cue? What do I do? Well, the answer to that is pretty straightforward. If you were to take this ball, let me do it from here, and you were to do the elevation to get over this ball, takes that much. You see? So therefore, the angle to shoot into that ball needs to be only that much. Just like that. Now you can see it. The angle in is dictated by the angle out. So if this ball is here, well, look at how easily and relaxed that can be. I've got easily and relaxed to be. If you're going to clear the ball you're jumping, at the very least, I'd suggest get over it by a half a ball. that's fine. Now, there are some technical shots where you're only going to get over that ball by a quarter of an inch. You're just going to graze over the top of it without touching it. But on the other hand, you don't want to have to get over this ball and be 3 balls high. What's the point of that? There is, however, certain technical shots where if you had to hit this 13 ball here and the cue ball's here, it's going to require a higher jump to then come down because you're so close. But if this ball's here, you don't really need to get over the ball more than that to be able to make that shot and make it happen. So the elevation is dictated by the angle out to get over the ball, dictates the angle in to shoot into the ball to get that angle to jump out. So it's the opposite of what you probably learned with the cushions. Angle in is angle out when you're kicking and banking. In this case for jumping, angle out dictates now you set the angle in. It's easy to get it, okay? So you take it from there. Next thing, number 5 is how do you stroke? This is the way the questions were coming in. How do you stroke a jump shot? Well, if you're going to do back arm jumping, then you're just going to pump the arm like you normally pump any other jump shot or playing shot, excuse me. But if you're going to use the darting method, and I prefer the darting method, it doesn't matter if you're not comfortable with it. You're only not comfortable with it for 2 reasons. One, you just haven't put the work in so that a month later, you're so comfortable with dart jumping, you're uncomfortable with back arm jumping. So put the work in so you get the muscle memory to develop so you're good to go. The second is because you think you saw so-and-so or so-and-such back arm jumping, oh, that must make it right. It's not. The bottom line is here, answer this simple question to yourself. Here it comes. You ready? If you're supposed to look at what you're aiming at the time you take a shot, and back arm jumping, you can't look at it. You have to guess. Guesstimate at best. Yeah, you get that? You're guessing. So even if you make the shot, so what? Good guess. Or dart jumping with your head up, your eyes up, you can look at exactly what you're aiming at. Now, you want to guess or you want to intentionally see what you're aiming at? Which of those two do you think would be smarter? Especially if you're on 2 and this could be the end of the match. We've heard of that before. And 3 fouled and you just lost the championship. Sure, because you're too busy with your head buried in the cue ball. You deserve the 3 foul. But if you're looking up, then dart jumping is the only way that allows you to do that properly. So from this position here, if I'm going to come into the 12 ball, and I'm at this angle here because I feel like you can see me and you can get a chance to see more of the working parts that are closer. If I were on the other side of the table, it would be a little difficult for you to see some of the closer parts. But look at the position I'm in right here. Watch. Eyes are up. Eyes are down. I could check the aim. I could bring it down. I begin pre-stroking. Eyes up. Eyes down. Eyes are up. And now I take the shot. That's the point of having complete eye pattern, aiming control, and all I simply do, point number 6, the stroke is just wrist. It's not pumping the arm. You back armers, you get to pump the arm. Good for you. The rest of it is like throwing a dart. That's it. You're here to throw the dart. There it goes. Throw the dart. That's it. That's it. Now watch the stroke here. Watch this, okay? From here, I'm just going to hit that 12 ball, okay? From here, stroke, eyes are up, eyes are down, eyes are up. Okay, all I want you to focus on right now is just look at my arm. Look at this arm right here. Watch this when I make the shot. Don't worry about the ball, okay? Right here, eyes are up, eyes are down. Watch my hand. Ready? Here it comes. Okay? There you have it. Done. And that's the point. If you can't see what you're aiming at, don't expect to make the ball. And if you do miss it, then come back and let's begin to develop the proficiency of your skills because, why? Because you're putting the work into doing the right things consistently. And press past that comfort zone. Press past that sweet spot where you think, oh, I got it. Go beyond it. That way in competition, you are fully ready for the possibility of anything that comes in. So that's that point. Strictly right there, boom, on the wrist. So far I've covered the most critical things that have been coming in with regard to some of the mechanics. Okay, your feet, sorry if you really can't see this right now, maybe on the back end camera you could see it. Maybe I can find a position here, I can get my legs, you can see that on the top corner camera. Okay, I'm just in a regular stance, there, just like that, you see? I just got, I'm just comfortable. You don't have to be all over the place and crotched and this and that. If the table and the position of the ball, if you got a situation like this and you're out here on the table and you got to get over the top of this thing and then you got to be able to hit this ball and maybe you're trying to break up something, okay? Maybe then, okay, you got to get on top of the table. You got to work with that same bridge, but don't go getting freaked out. Stop this. I mean, I have short fingers. My hand's not big. That doesn't matter. If you get this part moving correctly, it doesn't matter if you have shorter hands. So stop telling me, well, your hands are bigger, that's why you could do it. That's nonsense. That's an excuse for you. Get over that excuse, okay? But if you want to sit up on the table, now look at the elevation. Am I going to hit that ball? Yeah, you know I'm going to hit that. I got to be up here in order to make sure my elevation matches what comes out of the ball to get over it. That becomes the elevation I shoot into the ball. And that's how you're going to get over the top of it. And then that's what's going to happen in order to make that happen. Now, if I don't care if I got to climb on top of the table. Okay, so some of you have a problem climbing on top of the table because you're not very limber and you can't do that. Or you say, well, I'm only 5'1". So what? Then you could take it and go get a bridge. They make bridges specifically designed. I got a buddy, Don, from a long time ago. He created the Easy Jumper. It's probably still out there. It looks like a dog bone. There's also some others out there that are fabulous that you can literally, it's got a little ring and you can put the stick in it and then you can use that so that you're not going to be flopping around like a fish out of water or something. Okay? You have the chance to work with devices that are accessible. But I will show you something kind of cool for some of you who don't really know that you could do this. You could take your bridge, okay, and any kind of bridge. It could be a moosehead bridge. I think I have pretty much everything here. Let's just, well, if I had I do have a moosehead, okay, here. These are all the parts. When I pre-record, I cut that area. Look how simple. I just took that off, put it in your bag. It is the most brilliant bridge head, and you should have your own bridge head. Don't use that junk they put around the tables, and then your shaft gets scratched or scraped or whatever. Okay, so here, I got this beautiful moose head. Watch this. I don't even need the stick, but I could use the stick if I wanted to just get a little bit more leverage, and I'm in a really tough position. And by the way, I'm using this side of the table, so the table, I'm right-handed, and the table's in my way, and now I'm all congested, and I can't figure out how to get over here. But watch this. If you have a problem trying to hold your hand steady, just use the bridge. And if you want to wrap your finger around it a little bit to hold it in position, just go like that. And if you want, hold it up in the air, even a little higher. Look at this. Look what I can do. Look, there's just nothing to it to get it done. So you could take this and hold it up in the air. Here, let's get that jump even a little more insane. By the way, the ball that I just used to jump, you know what this ball is? Check it out. Everybody recognize it? Yeah, that's the metal speckled ball on your bar tables, okay? And if you think that's amazing, watch this. I'm sure I've got one over here. Oh yeah, there's that big ball everybody whines about needlessly. You recognize this one, right? The rock ball. It's got a big giant marble in the middle of it, okay? And everybody tells me, oh, you can't jump with that. It's too, can't be jump. Nonsense. Jumping is about the technique that you use. And I'm teaching you the best technique, how to do it, okay? So check it out. So I'm right here. I'm gonna get that real tight right there. Okay, that is just about 1 cube of chalk away right there, okay? Let me bring back this even a little closer. Check it out. I'm gonna get all up over the table. I'm gonna get in my hands on this bridge. I'm going to hold this thing. I might even want to use the stick. It's in the way. Just hold the bridge. Wrap a finger around it if you want. Look at what I'm teaching you. And then bring it up in the air just like this. There you go. And there's your stroke. Hello? And miss. Let's do it again. Same ball. That was a really tough position. Actually, I took way too long and I got uncomfortable. So I'm not going to do it that way. I'm going to do it in my rhythm so you can see. Even way out here in the middle of the table, which is completely ridiculous. Let's go ahead. Let's get the bridge up there again. And you know what? I'm going to show you something even more amazing. Some of you, okay, because I could do this. This is not a big deal. But what if you didn't have that? What if some of you know how to get your foot on the table? You know there's no rule against this. You could put your foot on the table and you could put your foot inside your sock or take your sock off and put it right in between your toes. How do I know that? Because I once taught a gal how to jump who only had one arm. And so that would become her bridge. So let me see if I can't go ahead and do that for you and get the, let's go ahead and do that. Hey, you wanted me to be live today, right? Here we go. With the rock ball, okay? That's the bottom line. And that wasn't barely an inch away from that ball. So you don't have to get silly and crazy like that. But what I'm trying to say to you is, it doesn't matter if the ball's out in the middle of the table. Figure it out. Otherwise, go to DITV and learn all the kicking and the banking and the other things that I teach you to learn how to get out of absolutely any ridiculous position somebody puts you in. Now, let's talk about more. Okay, those are enough mechanic questions. I'm pretty sure I covered most of them. I want to spend a little bit of time and make sure I talk to you a little bit about strategy of play. When do you properly execute the jump? And for those of you who have the opportunity to push out when you're playing, sometimes 8-ball doesn't let you do that, I'm pretty sure, but 9-ball, 10-ball, and always make sure you're allowed to use your jump cue. And if you can't use a real jump cue, guess what? Most breaking cues, certainly the Moab 1 created by, yeah, I love you, me, the Moab 1, that is designed specifically to be a full-length jumping cue from less than a diamond. From less than a diamond with the full-length breaking cue, my cue is designed to be a full-length jump cue because no jump cues allowed. Now that rule is pretty stupid and old, and it's getting old to the point where hopefully we'll stop ever hearing that again. People say, well, you can rip the cloth. You can't rip, you can't rip the cloth with a jump cue. So get over that. The only reason somebody tells you no jump cues allowed is because he doesn't know or she doesn't know how to, and they're afraid of something that can't even really happen anyway. The only thing that could potentially tear up a table if it's not really done properly is a masse cue. Masse, the word French means for hammer. Bam! You're going to take that thing, you're going to smash it through the table until it does what it does. Okay, masse cues really can tear into the cloth a bit, but even those, it's an extreme. So unless you're into W.C. Fields and you want to see ripped cloth, that stuff is only jokes for the movies. It doesn't really work in real life. You can't rip the cloth with a jump cue. So we get that. Now, a little bit of playing strategy. If you can, push out into a jump shot. Exactly. If your opponent, you want to see whether or not they have the ability to jump very well, push out into a jump cue. But here's the key thing I want you to really get, is when you push out into a jump cue. Okay, let's take, let's try to do this really quick. Let's set up a rack, and let's set up a rack of balls real quick, and we'll set up 9 balls. If it's a 9-ball or a 10-ball game, let me do this really fast. I want to show you a point of doing this. There it is, 9 balls. It's close enough. Okay, let's move these out of the way. And now, in the hole. Everybody in the hole. Get out of the way. Let's get the extension out of here. And close enough. I guess I'm going to need a 1 ball to make it legal so that people aren't losing themselves over me. Okay, let's go with this. This is close enough. Get rid of these and these and these and these. Looks like a 1-ball rack. There we go. Let's bring it in. I'm using the run-out rack created by Mr. Matt Kaplan. If you don't have one, too bad for you. Mine comes apart. I can put it in my case, and then I have my absolutely perfect rack when I go somewhere, and I don't have to be worried about the garbage that they want me to use on their tables. And you just go ahead and put it in position. Next thing you know, boom. nice tight rack. Hold the rack to the center. Roll the balls. Make sure it's a perfect rack. Do all the drama. Yeah, right. Okay, you watch me play in a tournament. I could care less if the rack is loose. Okay, and I'm going to go ahead right here. Take my Moab 1 break cue. Let me see if I can give you a stunning break. Here we go. Ready? And fire. Cue ball stays in the middle like it should. And okay, so that guy broke, and he broke dry, which was perfect. Now here I come. I don't see the 1 ball. Look at that. Couldn't get it any better, right? Here comes my jump shot. You ready? Here I come. How about like this? There's my push out. There's my push out. All right, he might kick here, he might kick there, but even if, what if I was really in a position down here like this? Watch this. Ha ha! I'm probably going to get that back. Now you decide if you want to use the 5-ounce jump cue, the 8-ounce jump cue, or the 11-ounce jump cue, depending on how much distance you have, how much inertia you're trying to generate into the 1 ball to make the jump. But in this case here, I'm just going to go ahead and take this, pick it up, and I'm going to say that he turned it back over to me because you can't kick this way, and there's another ball up here, so you can't kick off the side there. You're just all jacked up. Okay, here we go, right from here. Eyes up, eyes down, eyes up, take the shot, hit the ball, get out of there, get back and safe, boom. Now it's his problem. That's the way you want to learn. See? Let's see what he can do now. If you don't have the right tool, the minute I see this guy, first of all, when he goes to his bag and now he's got to put his jump cue together, I'm already feeling laughing. He's not even warmed up for jumping. He's not even ready. Oh, now he needs a jump cue. He's going to put one together. A little late. And number 2, if that freaked him out over here, I guarantee you he's going to freak out over here. Jumping is a shot in the game, and you might as well learn how to get good at it. And I'm one of the best in the world, and I promise you I could teach you to be one of the most amazing people who can jump because you got the right equipment, and that means your skill level can rise up to the capability of what the Elevate is capable of doing. Now, there is so much more that you really need to be able to get a handle on. So I want to encourage you to do one of 3 things. 1, just call me on the phone and book some one-on-one time. I have a 4-hour training session I do, or I do 8 hours, 1, 2, 3, or 4 days. That's it. You go to the drillinstructor.us. Down the left-hand side of the page, you're going to see a nice big red box like my shirt, and it says something like training fees or event fees or something. Click on the box, and you're going to see everything you need to know. And when you look at it, don't go, ooh, that's expensive. The good news is you get what you pay for. You want a lesson for $25? Get ready to get a $25 worth of a lesson. But the bottom line is you want to get really great at what you want to learn how to do. You're going to get it from whoever you think can be the best to do it with you, okay? And I'm inviting you to do that one-on-one. Number 2, go to thedrillinstructor.us and sign up for DITV. Come on, I put my heart and my effort and everything into making every way possible for you to just take your phone, your tablet, whatever you want, put it on the end of the table, and let me communicate and work with you right there on the spot. Or number 3, you could go look in the menu on the web page, look at the menu, and right at the top there, after it says you could just click here to join DITV, okay? But after that, books and DVDs. I still have some left. I'm not printing anymore. There are certain DVDs that they're remaking only for now as needed, and I'm special autographing those. So those are, but otherwise, when the books and DVDs run out, and when the books run out, then the DVDs run out, I'm not producing anymore. As long as there may be some books left, I'm going to have them keep producing the backup autographed DVDs to go with it. But just get the books and DVDs. And I can tell you in advance, Boot Camp Tactics has all my jumping drills for 8-ball, 9-ball, 10-ball, all the different setups that you could do for short, medium, and long-term jumping. All the follow shots, draw shots, everything you want, even masse shots, okay? Because you need to know how to jump masse, which this does amazing. All right. Tonight was a special show. I knew I needed to do at least a good half an hour. Went over a little bit with you, 35 minutes. I don't mind. I'll give you 3 hours if you want to sit there. But the point is, if you realize jumping is a shot in the game, if you'll realize you've got to have the best equipment in order for you to adapt your learning skill level to what the equipment is capable of doing. I'm telling you in advance, even as skilled as I am jumping, and I promise you, I am extremely skilled at jumping. But the point is, if you hand me a jump cue, I could say to you, this cue can't do that shot. Because I would know it can't do that shot. It's not made for it. Remember the jump shots? It can only do this many? Well, it fell into that category where it was outside the lines of what that novelty piece of whatever it is can't do. And by the way, keep in mind, a lot of companies, they make a jump cue simply because, oh, well, we might as well make one. And since our name is popular, you'll probably buy theirs too. Sorry, that's a stupid, wasted decision. You need to test this thing, or you need to work with somebody who you're confident to know, why is that jump cue better than my Predator jump cue over here? Why are you telling me that this jump cue and the other ones, I can pull them all out. Look, I got a whole wall of them here, okay? The bottom line is, I wouldn't have created something to be just like everybody else's. Never going to happen. Mine has to be number one, the best in the world. I would use it, or I would use it. That's exactly. So why would I promote something that isn't? I promise you, there's not a single company with a jump cue out there mine can't outperform. And I know that simply because that's the way I design it. All right, enough of the nonsense. I love you guys. Thank you for letting me share. I covered a ton of detail on here for you. Book me one-on-one. Get the books, the DVDs, join DITV. But whatever it is, stop making excuses why you can't do it. Oh, one more good news. All you beginner level players, it doesn't require you to be a skilled level pool player to learn how to jump. And if you could just learn how to jump, unless somebody, you know what they say about me, okay, you're going to pull, they say, if you ain't kissing, he ain't missing. That's what happens to me. Because if you're off that ball by a quarter of an inch, I'm getting over it. Why? Because I have the equipment that can do that, and I know the technique that can do that, and I certainly could share that with you. So everybody, you aim straight, you shoot straight, you jump straight, you split the pockets, and that's the drill instructor way. All right, I went live tonight. I hope this was a real hit for you all. Please share this with others. Subscribe below. Do all those other things. It's on YouTube. I don't know. They told me I could do this on YouTube Live. I didn't know how to do that. Okay, and Cat's probably out in the back feeding a crocodile. What do I know? Okay, so I'm not kidding you. She went to her pet. She feeds a crocodile. So anyway, I love you guys. I'll see you next week. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. God bless you. Bye-bye.